Hi YouTube. So I get comfy leaning on my lathe. Today we're gonna have some fun turning this into something you can use in your drinks. Yeah, not really in the mood to do much of an intro, so let's get to it. Well, I'm thinking about it. So, did you guys know that you can support me for not spending a cent by hitting the like button, subscribing, and sharing my videos? Doesn't cost you a cent. Helps the algorithm see me a whole lot more, and it's totally free for you. It just takes 3 clicks. Just wanted to throw that out there. Thanks. Bye. Alright, and we're back. So, like I said, not really in the mood to do an intro. So, what we are going to do now... Okay, I don't have a center finder out here. I don't really want to go find one, so we're just going to eyeball this. First thing we're going to do is chuck this up into the lathe. And just push it in. Get it tightened up fairly aggressively. I want to make sure I've got, my lathe is actually on the correct gearing, because for this I want it nice and fast. Just eyeball this as close to the center as we can find. Alright. So now we're just going to tighten this up as much as I can. And with that, I've already got it preset for full speed. And we are going to get started with making our muddler. This is the first time I've said what the name of the project is too, I guess. That's what I get for doing this when I'm not feeling that great. Alright, so muddler time. Turn that on. And that's good. My tool, I don't want to yell over this. My tool rest is a little too short to be doing this in one swipe. I actually need to get a longer one, and I'm feeling cheap lately, so I'm gonna start with one side, slide this over, do the rest. I'll walk you through it. It sounds harder than it is. So here we go. There. We still got a little spot here it needs hit. This is the non-finger trick to check flatness. I like my finger though, because it's a lot more sensitive. This tool's tearing out a lot. This thing is sharpened. Alright. Now we're gonna grab our spindle gouge, turn this back on, and we're gonna start. I keep getting ahead of myself, sorry. So with the spindle gouge, we're gonna put our working end, and over here is where I'm gonna put my handle. You'll see the differences and all that here in a second. And I'm trying to do this in one cut, so I got all that. So we got our sandpaper, we got that, we got this, we're ready to rock and roll. So in order to shape this, I'm just gonna tighten this up. And then we're gonna put a ball on this end. Now we're onto the side for the handle. I use my fingers to gauge where I want the other end of this to start in at. Itchy head, sorry. I got a gnarly sunburn last weekend. I'm still, my head's starting to peel and it's driving me up a wall. Alright, now we're going to use a carbide, technically scraper. Alright, now for this one we're going to throw a little bit of detailing on. I don't normally do this on a lot of them, but I figure what the heck, I get to use some tools I don't get to show you guys all that often. Excuse me while I look for it. So we're going to start. I have a smaller one of these as well, but look at that gnarly thing. So we're going to use this horse spur looking thing. And then we're going to come up in here. We need a little more distance on the tool rest. And we just push in and very slowly pull it back. See, I already screwed it up because I'm going the wrong way. So we'll start on this side and go that way. The trick with this is just go as slow as you can. Alright. Not the prettiest job I've ever done, but oh, come on, I thought I had that one over here. I'll turn this up, and this is just a burning wire. You can make these yourselves, or you can be lazy like me and just I bought a kit for it because I got the handles pre-made. It's got the little grommets to hold them in there. And you get the wire, which I can get in 3 different thicknesses. And I just found somewhere I can actually buy the wire itself, so I don't got to keep buying the kit. And this is really rough because my tool's not sharpened up enough, so we're just gonna sand it up. We're gonna start with 60 grit. Ooh. Alright. Not liking how dull that got, but whatever. While I'm standing, I am going to turn another fan on just to help get this sawdust away from me. That's right, I'm using the plug I need for that. Never mind. Yeah. I still think it was worth the attempt to do that. Looks a little weird, but whatever. And just so you know, the sanding grits run 60, 120, 180, 240, 400, 600, 800, 1000, 2000, 3000. Once I get through 400, which is the next one, I'm going to start doing something which is called popping the grain, because I know this is going to get wet. And the first time you stick this in a drink to use it to muddle your herbs or mint or whatever it is you're using it for, it's going to get rough. And if you don't pop the grain, all the little hairs of wood that are currently laying down with sandpaper, because it can go from smooth as a baby's butt to really rough to the touch. I mean, it's not like super unpleasant, but you can definitely tell the difference when you pop the grain, which we're going to do right now. That's a trick where you this will really help keep and make sure that nothing starts feeling weird later on. Usually I would just spray it real aggressive and just get this thing saturated. This works just as well because this is already like 2 grits rougher than it was when I started. You know what? I don't think that's wet enough. I'm trying to minimize how much I get on my lathe bed, because then I gotta clean it and coat it with WD-40 to make sure it doesn't rust out. So alright, now we're just going to dry this off. Alright. Okay. Now we'll turn this back down to the sanding speed, which is usually about 1,000 to 1,200 RPM. Not a hard number with me. Unless I'm not getting sawdust off, then we'll take it up to, I try not to exceed 1,800 RPM, because that's when you really start burning your sandpaper up. Sorry, I just thought of something. I'm looking for the next video while I do this. Not seeing it. Since I'm probably going to upload this one first, next week's is going to be recorded literally right after this one. I've got a whole bunch of blanks for them over there. I need a bunch more of these made up for some upcoming craft shows I've got, so if you're interested in grabbing any, as always, email me. I got my contact phone number on here, or show up at a craft show. Follow me on Facebook. We're about to pop the green again after this one, because when I do 1,000, 2,000, we'll pop it and hit it with the 3, and we're done. Other than cutting it off and yeah. Alright. So there's that. Helps if you turn it off. And by the way, all this is water. It doesn't require anything fancy. If you ever see me doing live turning, if I'm using water, I'll tell you it's a horribly nasty chemical, and then spray a few spurts in my mouth, because usually I'm thirsty. I don't know if the camera's picking this up, but in the light I can see where I'm hitting, and I can actually see that line of where it's getting dried up at. Alright. Oh yeah, I keep forgetting my camera's on, or my mic's on my hat. Alright, so yeah, we're basically at 1,500 RPM. And we're just gonna hit it with this 1,000. Gonna hit in all the little nooks and crannies best we can. And if you like one of these and you don't want to, or you're weird like me and don't actually drink, so I don't have more than 1 or 2 every year or 2, mainly because I don't like the taste of any type of booze. But
if you like fresh ground mint in your tea, you can use it to grind up mint leaves. Definitely not something I would try to use as a mortar and pestle because it just will not hold up the same. The mortar and pestle is traditionally a type of granite, and wood you can't put the same amount of pressure on wood as you can granite. So, I mean, granite's rock hard and wood's just wood. I'm trying to be funny now. Just laughing. Just laugh. We know. Just laugh. Help me think I'm hilarious, please. And now we're back to the water. This is looking a lot better than I thought it did. Alright. Guess that makes it harder for you guys to see. So I'm not sure if this camera's good enough to pick up the difference. Alright. For this final sanding, I'm going to hit it with 2,000 RPM. Just because one, it'll help dry it up a little quicker, and two, it'll help me with getting an initial burnish done. We're also going to put a little beeswax on the whole thing just to help seal it up. This is cherry wood, so it's fairly closed grain. It stays fairly well sealed. And then I also make stuff called board butter that I'm gonna soak this thing in as well. Now we just got to move quick, and I wasn't planning on doing this, so excuse me while I freak out for a minute. So I thought I had my, there it is. Before I do all that, a little bit of sawdust. And this just helps with, this is called burnishing the wood. It knocks off any last high spots that I might have missed with sandpaper. Since I got a lot of bigger stuff down here at my feet, we're going to use some of that. So I don't want to get too close to this because there are openings and it really hurts when you smack your hand into it. Alright. And it also helps to heat it up so I can get this wax on, which this will wear off over time. I normally don't include any wood butter with these, but because it's something you can use them with, I'm actually going to start throwing it in there with them for a couple extra bucks, which will be a small discount because it's already not very expensive. I mean, we're talking less than $5 for a 2-ounce can. Shameless plug, I also make it myself. I actually just mixed trying to think. Pretty sure it was 1.5 gallons in the last week. I was running fairly low and I've got all my empty tins filled. And now for this, I love the smell of this stuff. It's 100% beeswax. What I'll do is take it, pinch it, and pull it back. As you can see, I see a bunch of junk on the lens. I'll get that here in a second. And now when I pinch this paper towel all the way around it, it really heats this wax up and helps get it nice and deep into the wood. I'll turn this off while we work everything in. Might be kind of hard to see on the camera, but this is darker. It's got that nice wax in there. If you do, and so as soon as you stick this in a drink, you can also see how it beat it up on the wood instead of absorbing in like it did before. And I can't even feel a difference other than it is still damp there. Which means we popped the grain well enough, everything's sanded up right. No, I don't do a spray test on this every time because I can usually get it right just by looking when I'm sanding. And now we're going to cut this off. That was hot. Alright. Now before we cut that off, I do want to smooth this up a hair. And that is basically straight end grain, so it will pop. So I just took a little drop of water. I just sprayed a little bit of water on my sanding pad here. It takes a little longer on the end because out here it's spinning faster, even though it's the same speed, just because of how much farther out it is from the lathe. Like when I first start, I can move a tool even faster than I can because the closer you get in, the slower it's moving just due to the distance out from the, I just lost the fancy scientific word for it, but the, basically in the middle where it's pivoting, not the right word. People are going to make fun of me in the comments, but feel free because hopefully y'all can remind me because I legit cannot remember to save my life right now. And if you are taking this as a 101 course, if you're doing something like this with this much out there, don't be in a hurry. Slow is smooth, smooth is fast. Take your time, don't apply a lot of pressure, because all it takes is pushing in too hard one time and getting your paper towel caught to get this to rip your hand around, rip it around the lathe, throw your project off. I don't know if it'll pick that up or not, but on my thumb I just had a top blank snap in half on me yesterday. I don't have it over here because I kind of threw it. I was kind of ticked off, and then threw some sawdust around it and burn it because that one hurt. But I mean, the piece of wood in the middle literally split in half. I'm still not exactly sure what I did wrong on it, but I've gotten hurt off tops more than anything else that I've made. In number of times I've been hit. The worst one was on a live stream here. And it's also the first short on my channel. So now we're going to cut this off. When you do that, just a real light pressure. You don't want, if you feel heat on your fingers, you're gripping it too hard. Because where I was at, I could sit there and hold that all day if I had to. Now, usually I would take like a real sharp, I was just starting to get into wood carving, as my spoon video showed. If you don't have that, if you have a skew, they should be nice and sharp if you're going to be using them. You can use that blade, and you just knock that little tip off there, so it should be nice and flat and smooth like that. And again, I'm just gonna sand on this for a minute. When I'm doing this for production work, I'll have a bigger sheet. I'll put it on a flat surface, and I'll just do that, and I'll actually just do it right here on my lathe. Move the camera so you guys can see. So I'll have all this stuff pulled out of the way, and I'll work it in that way. Since I already did this end on the lathe and it's nice and shiny, that end doesn't need to be done. Then I'll just take the beeswax, put a little bit on, and I'll just grab my paper towel. I'll just work it in. If you want to heat it up, you can also get it to heat it up with friction just like this. Just push aggressively in, which is why I make the handles on these so thick, because you can really turn into it, so you can really muddle your drinks. And that's the easiest way I've found to make a muddler. So that's how we make our muddlers. This is all done, and I'm going to be getting a lot more of these ready to rock and roll. I've had more than a few people ask for them in the last couple months, so if you were asking for one and you happen to follow me on here, make sure you'll see me at. I've got about 10 or 12 I think in my show stuff now, and that 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, probably about 25-30 blanks over there. It's a mix of cherry, which this is, and maple, which is just a real light wood. So they will be available next time you see me at a show, which at the time of recording is 2 weeks. Decided to take a week off here in early August because I'm tired. So with that, I'll see you guys in the next one.